Okay. Covenant 25, random, let's go. Awoken Stygian, Glimmer, Offering Token Awake, and we face Consume Seraph. Seems interesting. Split Anvil versus Iron Drop Cage. Well, with Awake in the starting deck, it has to be Split Anvil. And with that much extra healing, definitely the Rejuvenate Sentient. We already have 3 extra healing cards. One of these give regen to our units, so... let's prevent as much damage as we can here, and also give these units some time to actually... I should have started with that, shouldn't I? Well... very nice. Let's play a Train Steward here. And another Train Steward somewhere else. Another Glimmer. We can Glimmer this floor. So we have more time to heal up. Maybe stack some regen. I wanna draw into the Awake. We did get the Awake. It's definitely gonna make things a lot easier with the Awake. Decent amount of regen on my champ. Really? 1 damage? Oh well, still good enough. Wildwood Sap and Restoration Detonation. Also Sharpen. I think I want a Wildwood Sap. It's gonna give us enough regen to deal with bosses. The Helical Crystallis is less needed in this deck because our Restores and Glimmers and the Awake will already provide the frontline damage to us. But Flash Freeze to kill a backline is much more important here. Spell upgrades would be nice. We don't really need a unit upgrade urgently. Permafrost? Not really. Ember Stone. I'm tempted to just reroll here. Let's buy at least Consume. Just reroll for holdover. I could see the Ember Stone though. Let's put the Ember Stone on one of the Glimmers. And then we reroll. Consume removal? It's not bad on the Wildwood Sap. Yeah, it's actually quite good, especially as we have the Split Anvil. Let's also make the other Glimmer free. Non-boss enemy units enter with spikes 3. Okay. Should be no big deal for us because we don't really attack. No Glimmer here. Oh, we could take out most of these. All of these actually. I'd rather set up on top floor though. Just a little bit safer. And play the Wildwood Sap. Makes everything else free. I don't want to kill the hate guy, otherwise there might be a problem with too many guys at the same time on the top floor. Let's play a Train Steward here on the top. Wake. Everything else free. Let's kill these guys. Stack some more regen on the Awoken potentially. Yeah. This is already a very powerful deck, I agree. We do have the regen we need to kill bosses. We do have the amount of healing spells we need to kill front lines. And now we have Sharpen to kill back lines, so the only thing we might struggle with is double frontline units. Double frontline units could give us some trouble still. I would like an Awoken unit, but the Stygian unit is basically just as strong for us. I see Silo fight to deal with backlines. We do have the spikes though. Let's take the Nameless Siren. Nameless Siren will grow big enough to deal with the second frontliner in case I can't beat it with my champion. And the Cleansing Water helps dealing with some trials. Rare draft pick. Let's go for Umbra. Umbra Stone. That doesn't seem necessary at all. And the others don't do anything with the... Don't do anything without morsels. Cube Restore. I mean, it would work out in this deck, but I think there are better cards in you, like Glimmer. Well, actually, maybe Glimmer isn't a better card to dupe. Damage Shield Daedalus doesn't have haste, so we could set up on the second floor. Cause we do lack the damage to take out this floor right now. Glimmer doesn't give regen, that's correct. But we do have other cards that provide the regen to us. And I think this fight is mostly over. We just keep stacking regen on our champ. We should have the easy win here. We actually need to make an effort to keep our champion alive, so it's not over just yet. But there's a Wake. And there's Wildwood left. So now it's over. Yeah, I sometimes do that too. Upgrading a restore is actually totally reasonable in a deck like this. That was actually pretty close. We do still have a lot of chunk in our deck. Once we remove it, it will run much smoother. Cycle of Life, Unleash the Wildwood Siren Song. Let's take a Cycle of Life. It's gonna be decent. Not really interested in units here. And we won't draw. Definitely draw. Card removals are important, but the same goes for spell upgrades. I definitely want to go to the right here, double relics and unstable vortex. So let's go to the left here so we can keep our gold for the next floor ring. Remove the frozen lances first. These are not that great. I do also want to get the train stewards out of the deck. Another glimmer just seems solid. Cycle of Life is just another way to apply spikes. So we have a higher chance of getting it early on. It also synergizes with the Split Anvil because it's high cost. And giving our champion a little bit of extra health can be nice so we don't die to a sudden burst of damage. But it's mostly just for the added consistency. We do lack damage in this hand, so let's set up on the second floor here. I will also place a train steward on the top to cover for a potential collector up there. And I'm not even gonna glimmer on the bottom floor. And here we can Cycle of Life. Then I would like to kill this clipped reflector, but that's gonna be difficult. Flash Freeze is actually more damage. And I do want the regen. Sharpen loses us a little bit of damage against this guy because he gains more armor than we gain damage from it. Same goes for the Frozen Land. Actually, we also get the Rage. Yeah, so just play it. Yeah, let's see what we get. Ah, the Awake. Too bad. Well, we will take some damage to this guy, but it's only 10. Not a big deal. Actually, it's a Glimmer here. Is it a Glimmer? Each of these is 20 damage. It's not a Glimmer. I do want the restores for the regen. Might as well. And Cycle of Life makes the rest of our hand cost 0. Improved Firebox? Probably not necessary, but still helpful sometimes if we draw something like a Cycle of Life and Awake in our opening hand. Engraft seems good. Let's take Engraft. None of these. Maybe the Unnamed Tome? Nope. We don't need it, I think. We should be able to set up on the bottom floor against Absolvers and Purifiers. Thorn Casing, Winged Indulgence and Totem Fragment. Not that exciting. Spells gain an extra upgrade slot. We have almost no spell upgrades yet, but I'm definitely prioritizing Merchants of Magic from now on. I do think this is a reroll. None of these relics really appeal to us. What relics would appeal to us? Anything that gives us extra draw. None of these give extra draw. We are facing off against the Spell Consume Seraph, so let's take the Traitor's Quill. Let's remove some of these Train Stewards. After all, they don't get cost reduced and don't trigger Incarn. Crystal Cloak should be no problem whatsoever for us. We just stack enough regen and we will be fine. Very unlike the daily challenge where he was actually very annoying. And we can easily set up here on the bottom floor with these spells. I guess we Frozen Land this guy. We did remove some of the spell shields. This guy will be very annoying to stop though. I should have used the offering token first. But wouldn't have played that anyways. Let's start with the offering token. Engraft, restore to deal maximum damage to these guys. Flash freeze on the top. And I guess the Frozen Lands. So we kill everything on this floor. And... Huh? Oh, the Consume. Okay, that helps. And then we set up a Train Steward. We'll get it out of our draw for future turns. Here's a Cycle of Life. We need a bit more regen. Thank you, deck. That's all the regen I could ask for. Another Awake, Adaptive Mutation and Bramble Ash. Adaptive Mutation wouldn't be bad on the Siren, but a single one isn't really gonna do that much. We would need a second one. Let's skip. Let's also skip this one. These are not the cards we're looking for. I do wanna get some unit upgrades on the Siren. I think that's more important for me than getting a tube here. Quick, not really. I want aggressive things like multi-strike and strength stone. Very nice. That's basically what I was missing. Now we definitely have a much easier time dealing with double front lines. Single straight Train Steward can come in handy. Sometimes. We are... Yeah. Yeah, we'll visit all the Merchants of Magic. We don't need the removal. Take the removal right now. We should be fine against Fel. Especially against Armor Fel. Shouldn't be a big deal. We set up on the bottom floor, if we can. And it looks like we can, easily. Especially with this Sharpen. Oh, Cycle of Life, even better. I guess we want more spikes to start out with. Guy is slightly annoying, but with our multi-striking Siren should be no problem whatsoever. Nice chunk of regen right now. killed everything with just spells. Very nice. Let's start with the offering token. Let's discard one of these glimmers. Glimmer is just a solid card with the Rejuvenate Awoken, because it also triggers the Rejuvenate. And Flash Freeze this guy. We will not die right now, but we will die to the Frostbite on the next turn. I should have played the offering token first. Yep, definitely should have. Let's start with the offering token this time. Let's discard the Engraft. We can play the Flash Freeze on Bell. And an easy win here. I mean, I wouldn't mind an Ancient's Energy, but we also don't really need it. Maybe Siren Song is actually better to catch survivors. Sure, we need to have it in the at the right time, but with Root Split Mask that becomes much less of an issue. A Forgotten Name would increase the healing we do and the damage of our glimmers. Let's take the Forgotten Name. And this solves the problem with the Siren Song. Do I want to cost reduce one of these so I have an easier time playing them both? I think so. Let's do it on the Cycle of Life. And then if we find Holdover, we hold over the Awake. No Holdover. Eternal Stone, not necessary. Another cost reduction, not really necessary. But I wouldn't mind it on an Engra. Let's put another Consume Stone on the Frozen Lands. This is not just plus 20 damage, it's also another plus 30 from the Traitor's Quill. So it's actually a very significant damage upgrade for the Frozen Lands. Let's remove the final Train Steward. And one of these offering tokens. They don't really serve much point in this deck. Yeah, obviously gets rid of the Frozen Lands. That's we'd even just, yeah, I would do so as well. But the plus 20 and the plus 30 from the Quill makes it an actually solid damage spell as well, which is nice. And here we get a very good setup turn with a lot of spikes and a lot of damage to the front. Let's start with an Awake. Can actually do that with a Siren Song. Oops, should have started out with that. The main reason why I'm... yeah, I should start healing the Siren a little bit. I forgot these enemies have spikes and Siren can take those very well. Let's give her a Cycle of Life. That's actually fine. Let's also give her an Engraft. Actually, we need the Engraft on the front line to kill both. No, we didn't even kill both of them. Glimmer will heal her back up. Let's play the weaker Glimmer here on the top floor. Stronger one here on the bottom. Regen, probably better than spikes. Should have started with the offering token. And there's the awake, punished. At least we can use the spikes as well. And easy win against the ball. That's a nice sound effect, I really like it. Another awake, probably not necessary. Yeah, let's just skip these. Our deck is basically done at this point. The only thing I'd really love to get would be holdover on awake. Actually, there's a problem with that. Prioress Cloak, Cuddlebeard, Titan's Claws. Not really. Let's re-roll. Septap. Septap is nice. Temper, Talisman and Rules of Containment. Let's also look at this. Holdover on the Wake would be great, because we could cast it every turn, but we are up against the Seraph the Diligent, so it's a bit more difficult. Let's hold over the Engraft instead. I will also cost reduce the Awake, because we can't rely on the... we can't rely on just the Split Anvil against this specific boss. Take the Septap and dupe the Engraft. So we have enough Ember to play our Scorchers and stuff every turn. Is there any use for Permafrost? I guess there is. When we draw multiple 2 costs in a single hand, we might want to have Permafrost on one of them. Awake we're probably gonna play as a priority, and then I would like to hold Cycle of Life if we have that in the same hand. And onwards to the boss. We also need to keep in mind that the first spell we play each turn is consumed, so the spellcasting order is gonna be very important. This is a good setup on the bottom floor. I don't wanna consume the Engraft right away. I'll instead consume one of the Return. We do after all have other sources of regen. Let's start out with the Frozen Lands. Follow that up with the Sharpen to make the other card cost 0. Let's also play the Offering Token to discard the Vengeful Shards, so we can actually play this with Thor. Here we can start out with Rosenland again. And let's play the Engraft. And might as well Flash Freeze the Seraph for a little bit of extra damage. The Flash Freeze is definitely the least important card in this hand. Use it right away. Then Offering Token. Wake. We can use the Engraft to be able to play out these Vengeful Shards. And the Cycle of Life has Permafrost, so we can keep it in hand for the next turn. So what do we want to burn? I think it's time to burn the Sharpen. We don't really need more thorns stacked up. Use these engrams for some energy refunds. Cycle of life. And then we glimmer on the floor to kill that guy. I think it's time to consume the offering token. Might as well use it on this floor. Let's discard the Vengeful Shard instead. And deck more regen here on our champion. I guess it's time to consume the Siren Song. And we start out with actually an engraft to get the draw from the Death Tap. So we can cost reduce the card we draw. And play both of these Vengeful Shards now. Funny how both of these guys ended up on 1 HP. And now we don't care what we consume because we win on this turn anyways. Yeah, I mean, when I saw these starting cards and I had the option to pick Split Anvil with the Awake and pick Rejuvenate Champion with those starting cards, it was basically over. Still, things could have gone a bit different and there are a few things that can cause problems even with a powerful run like that. But we managed to build our deck to counter things like that easily. Let's look at the run summary. So yeah, we had Awake and double Glimmer in our starting cards. I picked up the Rejuvenate Sentient based on that. I probably pick up the Rejuvenate Sentient even if I don't get any healing cards in my starting cards, but especially if I do get them, she's just amazing. And then we just build around the Split Anvil. The Nameless Siren was a nice damage increase. I mostly picked her up against double frontline units, and she did help out quite a few times in killing additional units we didn't have the damage for. Some units got through anyways, but it wasn't enough to really threaten us. Very strong, very powerful, very straightforward deck.